Hello, I am Alexander Egoyan from the Georgian State University of Physical Education and Sports. My presentation is about understanding qualia using the concepts of elastic membrane and elastic quasi-membrane. EM is an elastic, holistic, two-dimensional, indivisible material object with a closed topology embedded into the human brain. The EM squeezes around the thalamic nucleus, from where it propagates through the neural network to the regions of the sensory cortex responsible for perception, and tries to occupy the most stable positions around the brain microtubulus, producing phenomenal experiences in the form of elastic vibrations. EMs can stretch and squeeze, preserving the internal metric. According to the elastic membrane theory, we are two-dimensional elastic membranes where perceptions are caused by vibrations of dense enough regions of the membrane. Frequencies of the oscillations are supposed to be responsible for the quality of different perceptions, colors, sounds, etc., while amplitudes for the feeling of being three-dimensional. This slide shows how the elastic membrane occupies energetically favorable positions in the brain. It may propagate through axons of single neurons, or it can surround groups of axons as it is shown on the left. Each elastic membrane may be also treated as an elastic quasi-membrane, EQM, a quasi-object associated with the holistic field produced by the selected elastic membrane. But in the case of a EQM, we suppose that the field is produced by the perceiving object. According to the EOM concept, we are three-dimensional physical objects, for example, brains, living organisms, or even the universe that we perceive, depending on the model we use. The elastic quasi-membrane separates two regions of the brain, the region surrounded by the EQM and the region outside of the EQM. It points to the border between two regions of the brain where particles belonging to different regions interact in a holistic way. Once created, the EM or EQM changes its form and position in the brain, undergoing stretchings and squeezings. Only squeezed regions of the membrane produce perceptions because the membrane should be dense enough to generate perceptions. Elastic membranes squeeze around brain microtubulus because they are the most stable symmetrical structures in the brain neurons. The elastic membrane propagates in the gravitational field modulated by microtubulus. It is trying to find the most balanced position in which elastic gravitational and electromagnetic interactions are in a stable equilibrium. In this position, the membrane will produce collective vibrations around brain microtubulus responsible for qualia. Squeezing of a region of the membrane happens at the expense of stretching of the surrounding regions. Squeezed regions of EMs or EQMs may contain other squeezed regions, surrounded by stretched ones, and so forth. We suppose that before deformation, the elastic membrane has a spherical form. Stretched weak regions of the elastic membrane do not generate perceptions. Only vibrations of the squeezed regions of the elastic membrane inside the neurons of the sensory cortex generate perceptions, which will be projected directly on the sphere and spread off over the stretched surroundings, as it is shown on the slide. This structural approach may be used to explain our sensory perceptions, including binocular vision and hearing. The EM concept may be useful for explaining holistic properties of qualia, its indivisibility and multidimensionality from the first-person view, while the EOM concept may help us predict the real position and form of the EM during various perceptual processes by means of the traditional experimental approach. This model can help us to answer the following questions. Why do perceptions from different hemispheres overlap? The answer is because squeezings of the EM corresponding to the different hemispheres stretch the same region of the EM. Why do auditory perceptions come from all directions? The answer is because squeezings of the EM corresponding to the different hemispheres stretch the whole EM. Next question. Why do not visual perceptions come from all directions? The answer. Because squeezings of the EM corresponding to the different hemispheres stretch only a part of the EM. Why do visual and auditory perceptions overlap, while visual and tactile ones don't? The answer. Because the regions of the membrane responsible for visual and audio perceptions overlap, while in the second case, overlapping does not happen. This slide demonstrates that the first theory supports the main axioms of IIT, while the second one is in line with the main ideas of Orch. This slide shows pairs of complementary notions between the two theories. The two theories are complementary and may be combined to find connections between phenomenological and physical models of brain processes. Moreover, they have multidimensional theories of geometry and physics behind them. This gives additional grounds in favor of my theory. From the first-person point of view, we can discover some new features of our perception, and then we can try to create elastic membrane models for them. The second method assumes a detailed analysis of the physics and geometry of the brain processes connected with the phenomenon we are interested in. The two methods are complementary. It is possible to check geometrical models developed using one method by means of another method. Both theories support the idea of quantum computing in brain microtubules. Because quantum computer seems to be the best tool for processing the signals coming from macroscopic elastic membranes. It is good for synchronizing and optimizing physical processes in brain neurons the EM is passing through in response to changes in the membrane's density. Thank you for watching.